When I just talk the first time with a founder, and he usually cannot tell me within 10 or 15 seconds what his cost of acquisition is, then I usually tell him like, hey, buddy, you don't have a business. You have an expensive hobby.
Our guest today is Cem Atik, co-founder at Harucon Ventures. Cem, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, Cem, I think you have a very, very unique business model, right, for Harucon Ventures, and overall, how do you work with brands? I think this will be a very good start for our episode for you to just explain your business model and what do you do?
Sure. Actually, most people are just thinking like the business that we are doing is, like really boring. And I would love to say it is, but I don't think so. But what we do is really simple. We acquire mainly e-commerce and SaaS businesses. That means we're just looking always for opportunities to buy in with equity. We just do a really detailed due diligence on the marketing space, on the finance space for e-commerce brands and SaaS businesses. Yeah. And if they suit our ICP, if they are suiting our what we are looking for, we usually get in and buy equity, at least 51%.
Yes, it's very, very interesting. So these companies are probably need help in terms of their, let's say, marketing expertise or growth expertise, and they're happy, right, to bring in a partner, right, in the various stages. What's the typical founder mindset or the size of the company that you really work with?
So usually the brands where we get involved in, they're doing between 1 up to 10 million yearly revenue. And I mean, there's different reasons. Some of them have for sure issues with cash, or they was not able to scale the brand properly. Yeah, the finance are not looking good. The economics are bad right now. There's also people that realized and saying like, hey, having 100% from 10 million is great, but having 49% from 50 million is much better.
Sure.
So, and yeah, based on that, these are two of the main cases. And there's for sure also one case which is a bit negative. If someone is just really in trouble, was not able to pay his taxes, has really big issues with cash flow or burn rate, then we can also get involved in and bring the cash in that the business is needing to fix.
Yes. So how is your company structured? Who are the expert or the professionals in the company? How are you structured today?
I mean, we are just pretty really lean, actually. We are 11 people. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's my co-founder, Tobias. He's doing business development and all the sales things in our business. He is really deep involved in the supplement area in the DACH region. So Germany, Austria, Switzerland. Yeah. And then we have our head of retention. His name is Julian. He is a guy who is just really good in all these CRM things, email marketing, WhatsApp marketing, SMS marketing. Yeah, that's something that he's really, really strong in. Then we have Dominic and Melissa. Dominic is supporting Tobias in sales. Melissa is doing designs. And we have like a bunch of other people for Google Ads marketing as example in our team, which is supporting the brands we are working with together, where we are partnered in. A few guys that helped with email designs, WhatsApp funnels. Mm-hmm. So it's a pretty lean team actually. In the time of AI, before we are just acquiring or hiring someone new, we are just checking out, is it needed and is something that we could maybe automate before another person is coming in. Getting harder and harder to find good stuff.
So sure. So obviously you are not an agency and you don't operate as an agency. You have a different business.
No.
So assuming you found a partner and the brand you do the diligence on the brand, it looks interesting and you're able to structure a deal with the founder, what happens then?
So let us say we found a case that is really interesting for us. So our CFO, Matthias, is usually just really going into the brand, checking everything out, try to get the whole picture about their data, about their numbers. And then we usually do an audit on marketing side. So that means that we are just checking like, hey, what is Google Ads doing? What is Meta Ads doing? What is with affiliate? What is with retention? Yeah, basically, we're just checking really everything out. That usually takes like 2 up to 3 days for us to figure out, okay, what are the next steps and what has the highest priority. And based on that, we are just usually move forward. So let us say there is a brand, they are doing 100K a month, a really solid structure, but their store is not there where it should be because the customer journey is not optimized yet. So then the first thing what we do is saying like, hey, the first thing that we just need to do is fixing the shop. Because mean, you can run the best ads on the world. If your shop is not converting, your shop is not converting.
Yeah. Yeah. So who is running the company after you acquire?
So, I mean, we usually run them together with the brand owner for sure, but we take a lead in several positions like marketing and also finance usually because, I mean, that's our core strength, I would say. Otherwise, it makes no sense to take a strategic partner like we are. So we usually take the operations in marketing and also in finance. Also a bit in supply chain and buying the products for sure, but mainly in finance and marketing.
Got it. So you build a knowledge and experience, and let's say your moat is around managing those e-commerce brands, and whether it's on the marketing side, on the supply chain, finances, right? And just try to bring your value and your knowledge and how to do things in a better way together with the founder, which usually is still there, right? To manage the day to day. Okay. And you say that your position is a kind of a boutique, right? Firm. You're not working with a lot of companies in parallel. You're just more trying to focus on just adding a cap of like 10 or 15 customers that you work on a continuous basis.
So, I mean, to make a business exit ready takes at least 1.5 or 2 years.
Yeah.
So what we usually do is that we just only working with 5 up to 6 brands together because otherwise this wouldn't be manageable. And the last thing that I just want to do is like hiring 25, 30 people and be the whole day busy with managing these guys.
Yes.
So that's why we are just only acquire on a yearly basis between 2 and 4 businesses.
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't plan to do more because we would lose focus and also our work would definitely lose quality. You cannot focus on more than that.
Yes. I mean, if you have there is no ceiling. I mean, if you do good in any of these companies, you are connected obviously to the profits, but also to those companies' valuation, right? So the upsell or upside that you have here is quite substantial.
That's maybe why we're just really going really deep in the cases before we even commit to something. Because if I have any doubt about that we just can scale that case, we don't do that. Because as you said, we are just in with equity. If the brand is losing, we losing too. So
yes.
And I don't want to lose anybody.
No, sure. Got it. So Sam, I know you talk a lot about profit first, right? And there's an amazing example of you cutting one of the clients' ad spend by 1.7 million euros, right, in a month. So, and obviously scale their revenue substantial in addition. Tell us more about your thought process around profit focus versus, spending too much on ad spend.
Sure. I mean, I'm a really mathematical guy, you could say. So numbers are for me everything. I'm just not so like one of these emotional guys. For me, logic and numbers are basically my only truth, you could say, since I'm a child. The system is really simple. So especially in e-commerce, the unit economics are the most important thing. How much revenue I do, how big are my cost of goods sold, how many taxes I pay, what I pay for fulfillment, logistics, and all this stuff, what is my EBITDA, These are things which are really crucial to look on because, I mean, when I know that I do 100K revenue and I know that I pay 40K for products, and so my cost of goods sold are 40%, I instantly know that there is not enough margin to scale this problem because as bigger a brand gets, as more marketing costs, as more costs for influencers, all these costs are raising. So if your margin is from the beginning are whack, I would say, so bad and low, that's usually something I just stay away from because we need. I mean, it depends for sure on the brand and also for the market, but everything under 65 up to 75% gross margin is really hard in these days to scale, especially in the US, especially in UK, a bit easier in Europe, so in Germany, Austria, Switzerland as example, but in UK and in the US it's getting tough, really, really tough. So you just need to, I mean, there is for sure ways. You can just do more organic, more influencers, affiliate and stuff like that. But if you just want to drive performance, it's getting really hard. But the only thing that can avoid that is if you just, trying to, if you just have a store with a consumable product, right, that you just can sell in a subscription, then it's working because usually you are in the long scale, you are maybe not first order profitable, but at least in the second one if your churn rate is low. So, and that's pretty it. So the first thing that we did by this big partner is that we just came in, and I see that there was like running 4 Google accounts. They have 4 Meta accounts. They have like a lot of people, huge overhead. Yeah. And the first thing that I really does was like, hey, are these guys are really needed? It sounds maybe a bit bad, but yeah, that's usually the first thing. As someone who's getting in as a strategic partner, you don't think about people, you think about business. Yeah?
Yes.
So I don't care about the owners. I don't care about the stuff. I usually care about, first of all, about the business. Yeah, what the business needs. So we cut a bit overhead. We figure out a huge issue in their fulfillment. They had a fulfillment service which was overcharging them a lot. Yeah, because they was big and they didn't see that. We find another fulfillment service where we have a lot of control on, because we work with different partners already there. And that's also one thing in our network. We have a lot of pressure on service providers we're working with. This fulfillment service has already like 4 other businesses that he's managing all the fulfillment for. So we came in and I just said that these guys like, hey, the owner called, his name is Leon. Yeah. I said, Leon, I just need a really great offer here. It's a great brand, great possibility. We're sending out so many packages. Give me a great offer. So he do really his best that he can. And we just get a 50% cheaper offer than their current fulfillment service provider. That's one thing. On the products end, yeah, we figured out a supplier that is 9 cents cheaper in the same region they was buying these products on. And 9 cents on, I mean, if you're just sending out over K packages a day, that's huge. Yeah. So, and yeah, that was basically the first steps: fixing the supply chain, fixing the fulfillment, getting better product prices. That was basically the first things that we just did, and that bring a massive impact. The next thing was also really simple. Instead of using 4 Meta accounts and 4 Google accounts, we use one. So bring everything in one account. So all conversions runs in one account. We installed server-side tracking because they have still client-based tracking, even if they was so big. I don't understand why, but yeah, that was actually the case. The next thing was third-party tracking. We worked together with GetClar, as in software also from our region here, yeah, which gives you a lot of control about unit economics, about cohort analysis, product analysis, order journeys, yeah. And we figured out several things like which product bundles could work together, because they never bundled something up. We create bundles, we cut costs, and there was one thing that they really don't do before. They didn't label their products in Google Ads. So, and I'm not sure how familiar you are with labeling products in Google Ads, but if you just can spread the winners from the losers and cut the losers in money and only put money, like 100% of the money in the winning products, I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? There's a lot of more profit you do. Yeah.
Sure.
And yeah, in short, I would say that was pretty much the process.
Nice. So there are a few areas here. I mean, one is obviously cost reduction, because you're working with all these brands and you have the suppliers, you can negotiate better terms. This is one aspect. Second, when you see what these companies are doing, you say, okay, I can do it in a much more efficient way, right? Whether it's marketing spend, or as you mentioned, the other example of those number of channels they use. So we don't need so many people. We don't need all these channels. We can do it much more effective. Yeah. So that's clearly the way, and probably starting working with data more professionally, right, in order to improve KPIs. And also when you look and start working on these activities, what are the important matrices or KPIs for you, right, when you analyze performance?
It's not ROAS.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So that's something. I mean, there's a bunch of. So let me tell you first. So when I just talked the first time with a founder, and he usually cannot tell me within 10 or 15 seconds what his cost of acquisition is, then I usually tell him like, hey, buddy, you don't have a business. You have an expensive hobby. That's something you should just instantly know. That should be like, yeah, man, I mean, like a shot, right? You just need to tell me this instantly. That shows me at least you have a bit, a clue about what exactly is going on in your business. So customer acquisition cost is really important for me. Especially we are just working. I mean, my favorite niche is supplements, consumable goods, because I mean, the repurchase rate is so high. I also look a lot on the CLV, like, yeah, what happens? So we buy a customer in January, next year, January, how much money that person spends. Yeah. How good are the cohorts? Yeah. What is the customer lifetime value behind that?
Yes.
That's one important thing. Yeah. Together with this, with the customer acquisition costs. Yeah. Next things for me are the marketing efficiency ratio based on channel. So if I know, as example, Meta is a push channel. Yeah. We have maybe and marketing efficiency ratio about 1.5 or even 2. And I know I have in back Google, I have TikTok, which is running with at least 3.4, something like that. So I know that these channels carry a bit Meta, at least for a while, that we can push more on Meta and carry with Google and TikTok, right? Marketing efficiency ratio is a big important metric. And for sure, what is also really important is the EBITDA. So why that is because you can do everything, and can do it right. Yeah. But if your EBITDA is not at least 8 up to 10%, on the long run, you will lose money, because if your business is like 10 million, doing 10 million revenue a year, and you are already on an EBITDA between 8 and 10%, which is really low, actually, your foundation is not good that you just can scale really high. So then we are just usually check out and say like, okay, does it make sense to fix this? Yeah. Or is it not worth to fix this because product costs are maybe too expensive, or the product is too heavy, whatever, right? And these are the most important metrics if I'm just looking on, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marketing efficiency ratio based on channel, customer acquisition costs, CLV and cohorts. Yeah. Like how much money we just do in the next 12 months with this customer. EBITDA and maybe also repurchase rate for sure. If I know that 30% of the people that come in to my store and purchasing a product just reorder, I can spend much more in acquisition new customers.
By the way, usually those brands are exclusively operating online, or they have also like retail engagement?
We work also with brands that does retail. I mean, that depends actually. We have 2 partners which started in retail and then go online. We have also brands they started online and go to retail. That is usually something that we do. Yeah, that like getting into all if it's a supplement, getting in all pharmacy stores, getting also in the drugstores, that are local here in the area. Retail is also an important thing, but that depends actually to if the product is really suiting the retail. Yeah, retail is always really hard, and the restrictions are really, really strict. So if it makes sense and it's still profitable, we do. If not, we stay away usually.
Okay, great. And going back to the KPIs and matrices, I mean, how often do you check the data?
We have a dashboard. Yeah, I call this CEO dashboard, where we just check the data. So myself, it's checking it daily. Our marketing team is checking it maybe like hourly. Yeah, they are just a bit more focused on that for sure. But yeah, at least once a day, I just look over all the metrics which are important for me. Yeah, and yeah, that's usually enough. In the time of AI, it's much easier. Yeah,
I mean,
you just connect everything together.
All the APIs, I assume, right? From Meta, Amazon. I mean, all the other channels, and just created a nice data.
I mean, in past, I was just running 2 every businesses. Sure. We just had a dashboard each brand, and then looking on this brand. So now you see everything together, really aligned, on one panel. It's amazing.
Nice, very nice, very nice. So I want to discuss about your system and execution approach, right? You talk about the 4 engines, right? Acquisition, retention, conversion, and profits, right? Can you show more details about that approach?
Sure. Something that a lot of people are not understanding in e-commerce is that e-commerce is growing the best if you just constantly testing in a really high pace and feeling yourself always uncomfortable, because e-commerce is really growing the best when you are just in a position where you don't know what has happened. Maybe it sounds weird, but it's really the case. We saw this several times. So the first thing that is really important for every brand is for sure new customers. That's something we cannot negotiate. Yeah, it's great to earn more money over returning customers, but new customers are the bread and butter for our business. So that's why acquisition is the first thing that you usually should fix if the unit economics are in a good position. So if your foundation is great, we have solid profit margins, your products are cheap, your fulfillment is running, the first thing that you just really should fix is your acquisition channel. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's say also Google, Meta, be sure that you fix these channels. If you can fix them by yourself, do it. If not, get a service provider. Don't start to just hire people, because hiring people is usually like at least 3 times more expensive than getting an agency on board, which has good references, a lot of proof of record. Getting an agency involved is usually like 3 times cheaper than getting stuff involved.
Nice.
Let us say we starting with a brand doing Meta, doing also influencer marketing, right? Even for influencer marketing, I would just get an agency in, because you can learn from these guys, and after a while, like doing this a year or even a half of a year, you can start to put everything in-house. getting hired one people, a second person, just building a small team and taking over what the agency already starts. So outsourcing is always something that you should just consider in acquisition, because I mean, when you just build a house, you get some guy for the electricians, right? You get someone who is just doing the walls, someone who's doing the fundament and stuff like that. So you don't start to do it by yourself. And why you should do this in e-commerce or even in SaaS makes no sense. Yeah. So we fix, first of all, acquisition, get in, just figure out, well, what is the issue? Yeah. It's usually the same problems like always. We are just opening Google. Yeah. And we see that they get like 90% of their traffic on branded traffic. Yeah, but you live from cold audiences and from new customers. So stop just retargeting always your own branded traffic. And I mean, it's for sure important, but shouldn't be at least like 20 up to 30% can be branded traffic. 70%, I really recommend that this is cold traffic. If it's important, if it's more expensive, definitely. If it's more reliable, and better for the business, definitely. So fixing acquisition is really the most important thing in the beginning. So, but here's one thing. Let us say we just fixed acquisition and people are coming now to our website, really high quality traffic. I mean, how big will be your conversion rate? Yeah, usually we are between 2 and 5%. In high class stores, we are between 7 and 8%. So that means you have like 90, in the best case, like 92, 95%, of traffic is gone. So what do you do for that? You just need to do retention. We usually, on e-commerce brands, we use Klaviyo for that, right? So there is a pop-up with a mystery gift, with a discount, whatever. Yeah, we're just trying to test different things for sure, always. And constantly, if you find something that good works, that doesn't mean you can find something that is not working even better. Yeah. So let us say we just get like 25 of the people which wouldn't usually not convert. We just get in over the sign up form, right? So then you convert maybe 10% of these guys. Yeah. From the 25 who signed up. So that's another percent, or even 2 that you just can add on your conversion rate. So that's one thing. We build communities around the brands, getting people involved into the process. So like, let us say we are a supplement brand and we are just having a new booster for the gym area, as example. We have 3 new tastes, right? We just do a vote in the community and ask our audience, which taste they would like. What happens? They just, you just pretty much create the imagine that these guys having power in doing decisions, right? So they're getting much more loyal. Pre-sales are getting outsold because people are just believing in your products even more. The loyalty is rising. Yeah. Just compare it with a football club, right? If you're just looking like, let us say a Premier League or something, the Manchester fans or the Chelsea fans, they are huge fans, right? They would die for their club. You just need to create the same impression with e-commerce brands. So that is basically retention, conversion. We already talked about if your store is not good, there is no way to just scale. And the last thing that a lot of people are underestimating is optimize based on profit. Right. So we all know ROAS, the return of ad spend, but that's actually a really tricky metric, because let us say you're just paying 60 euros or $60 each customer and your product is $120, right? So that's a 2 ROAS. But if you just pay $30 and your product is $60, you have also a 2 ROAS. So that metric is usually only showing you how much money you get for how much money you spend. So it's a great metric to have an overview, but it's basically telling you nothing about your margin, about your profitability and everything around that. So it makes more sense if you're just optimizing based on your POAS, so profit on ad spend. So if I spend $1 in ads, how much profit I get out of it? Yeah. If it's 50 cents, if it's $1, if it's 2, how much is that? Right. And if you just looking on your profits instead of your revenue, you're just getting much more control about your unit economics. If I know my POAS is 1, so that means I spend $1 in marketing and I just get $1 in profit. So that's basically, okay, let us do the math. That's maybe a 3 ROAS or 4 ROAS in a usual setup with normal unit economics, right? So it's basically giving me the same information, but a bit clearer, because to track profit is much deeper and much more important than to track revenue, because revenue is only telling me how much revenue I do. Yeah. I don't know how much cost I have. I don't see all of these things, right? And you just can easily cut this if you're just starting to, act like you're like someone who just want to do profit would do.
Yeah. That's in
short.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. And I think, probably I mean, you need to have a very good understanding of what's happening in all these 4 stages and try to improve all these parameters. They all coexist together, right? So in order to maximize performance. And Sam, I wanted to ask you about channel mix, right? Because a lot of founders are exploring, online marketplaces. Maybe we talked about retail, maybe wholesale transaction. Today we have also not just Meta and Google that are getting more and more expensive, obviously, but today you have social commerce that is increasing, TikTok Shop. I mean, what's your view on channel mix versus maybe going in depth on some of the channels? And do you see any channels that are just not nice to have, but maybe a must have in any marketing mix these days?
I would say this a bit differently. So one thing clearly to understand, especially on products with repeatable sellers, your main money you do in retention. So Google is a great channel, Pinterest, Meta, all of them are great channels, but you usually do your main money in retention. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or, I mean, the most brands we are partnered with, they do much more money on TikTok Shop and on really retention and maybe like affiliate marketing, than we actually do on Google and Meta.
Yeah.
We drive this is something we just really need to understand and really get deep in it. Usually a push marketing channel like Meta or even YouTube ads, they are for acquiring new customers. They are to reach, getting more impressions, that people are just getting your first touch point.
Yes.
What is converting more than the push marketing channels is the pull marketing channel, which is Google usually, and for sure retention, because you already created 1 or even 2 touch points. They starting to Google you, and then they came over Google as example. Okay, that's one thing. They purchased, and then they have a birthday. Then you just give them a birthday discount, or there's a certain event, then you just giving them a discount there. So it's really important to understand that these paid performance channels should be usually used for getting new customers and cold traffic. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of TikTok affiliates because you just get a lot of advantages there.
Yeah.
First of all, you get affiliates based on commission. That's one thing. Second thing is you get a ton of videos. From these creators. And that's basically something which is, I mean, it's not for free for sure. You pay them their commission, giving them samples out for sure, right? But it's much cheaper than you would should hire someone. And if you're just only working with affiliates which are already good in that, what they're doing, what we usually do when we're building networks, it's a no-brainer, right? One of my favorite channels are also Pinterest. A lot of people are really underestimating Pinterest, but the audience on Pinterest are usually between 25 and 45, and they have and the average household income is over 100K. So the audience there is much more wealthier than Instagram or even TikTok, right?
Interesting.
And the costs and the revenues are much better. Usually we just see a ROAS between 4 up to 6 on Pinterest, even if you don't spend that much money. Another channel that a lot of people are underestimating and never use is Bing Ads. Bing Ads is basically the channel for old people. So people who are not able to install a Chrome browser, they're using Bing. So if you're selling a product in healthcare for people with, let us say, diabetes, or they have like back pain or something, why you don't consider Bing as a channel?
Interesting. Yeah. Yes.
I think every channel has this can be profitable if the product is the right fit for the audience, basically. And push channels should stay push channels. Don't try to generate a 4, 5, 6 ROAS on a push channel. Only if your product is maybe more has AOV over 150, 200 euros.
Yes.
That's a really important thing here. I really think so. Every channel can be profitable if it's the right channel for your audience, definitely.
Yes, just trying to figure out which channel works best in the specific timing for a specific brand, right? And test and then iterate very, very fast and try to break through. Perfect, Sam. So tell us how companies, founders can find you.
It's actually really simple. So they can just browse to our website, harucon-ventures.com. It's the easiest thing. Or they can just try to find me on LinkedIn. I'm really active there, sharing a lot of tools every day that makes my work easier. I just try to stay away from being this personal brand and talking about myself, how awesome I am. I don't like that, actually. I really only share value. So, and if there is any interest to get in touch with us, or someone knows a brand that could be just really needs help or looking for an investor, we are always all ears and looking for 2 new cases this year.
Perfect. Great. Sam, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I was happy to be here. Thank you for this chance to speak about my business, even if it's really unsexy, I would say, because all of these numbers are usually just getting people bored. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for being able to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All the best. Good luck.
Wish you the same. Bye.